You have a scout turning 18 next week. What's your next step? Hey, Scouter Stan. You know it's inevitable, but our scouts grow up. When they turn 18, they leave Scouts BSA and they go into venturing. That's just totally up to them. Now, a lot of times this needs to be planned out ahead of time. There needs to be a little bit of a discussion about that. If the scout has been working on getting the Eagle and that's been the focus and been driving to it and you've worked out all of that timing, that's super critical if you're dealing with timing in that 18th birthday. You don't want to mess it up and not be able to finish. It is totally possible to literally get everything done, and the birthday comes, and then you do the board of review, because technically everything needs to be finished, all the requirements except for the board of review before they're 18. So that's a possibility, but they're getting to 18, and you need to sit and talk with the young person and find out what's their next step. This is a major mentoring moment for a lot of us leaders to sit and listen and hear what they think they need to do next. That's super duper critical. Now, some scouts will go on and actually join the troop as an assistant scoutmaster. That's great. That's great. Just realize that their time can be quite limiting. If they're going off to school, or if they're starting to do an apprenticeship with whatever trade that they're going into, there could be work requirements that can take away from the scout the time to donate towards scouting. So that's something that needs to be talked about with your new leader. Of course, they have to do all of that training, just like any other leader that gets involved in the unit. They have to do all of that work so that, as far as training, to be qualified to do the leadership position. Of course, if the scout is an Eagle, they've already made a commitment to the community, to themselves, to continue scouting in their heart, and for the unit, that they can inspire other scouts to make that same achievement. So that's critical. If you have an Eagle Scout that's 18 and looking to inspire or even mentor other scouts towards the same goal, that's an excellent opportunity for leadership. Of course, when you're talking to young people, making that transition from scouting into young adulthood, there's a lot of stuff going on. So it's critical that our listening skills increase. We need to listen to what they're saying. They may or may not be asking for our advice, okay? That's hard to believe, but hopefully we have set everything in motion so that they can kind of make those decisions on their own. So that's something that we do. As scouters, we need to listen first and then give the advice if it is asked for. I know that's hard. I know it's so hard. But I always think of the same line I've heard before, time and time again. And that's quite simple about advice. Wise men don't need it, and fools will not heed it. So literally, you're talking to yourself. Unless they ask for the advice, just listen to what they have to say. And maybe even repeat it back, okay? So that there's a good communications there. And you can help them by mentoring it out. Sometimes they won't ask for that advice. They just want to hear it being said to somebody. Okay? And your facial and your body language expressions will greatly make them rethink those words. So it's nonverbal at that point. But these are young adults. You've given them the tools. They understand what's going on. So it should be a natural progression, a natural process for making decisions. And the decisions they make at this point in their life is critical. It's important to also consider your resources. Refer the young man or young lady to different adults that have skill sets that could help them along the way. Also, listen to what they're saying and ask them one simple question. What do you really want? So critical. I know that a lot of you wood badgers out there are going, yay, he said it. It's true. What do you want? That's what the young person will need to go through, that process of what they want to do with this skill set that they have and where they're going to go for their future. Super duper critical. I can't say that. It's everything. So once we've got it all set up, it's them. They've got the ball. Okay, they're the ones that are going to make or break it. And even if they make a bad decision, they can change their mind. That's okay. There's nothing permanent. So, they could definitely go back if they decide later that they needed a skill set, and they can go get that. Okay? So that's something that they need to be able to do. Always remind young people that they're not alone. That you will be there down the road, 6 months, a year from now, if they need advice or they need to just talk to somebody, that you're there. And be that person, be that leader that takes the phone call, that, meets with them, goes out and has a cup of coffee with them. Talk to them and definitely be there to listen and to help and to motivate them towards their future. Now, Cub Scout leaders, I know it's hard to believe, but those little Cub Scouts you got, they're going to grow up, okay? They're not going to stay Cub Scouts forever. Enjoy that time that you're with them while they're learning, that little light bulb going on in their head. That is so critical to a leader's experience. That life learning lessons and how to do things, how to build that popsicle fort or whatever it is, that is a life lesson. So that's something to think about as they get older. They're going to move through the Cub Scout program and hopefully into Scouts BSA and go through that process. So definitely be there. Cub leaders are also great mentors. Okay, and a lot of Cub leaders go from the pack to a troop. Happens all the time. Okay, in fact, a lot of them do. Okay, there's a lot of times with Scouts, they're following their own children through the scouting program. So that's something that they do all the time. So as a Cub Scout leader, do that. Of course, in Scouts, we need to listen. That is a huge skill. It takes time. You have to listen to be understood, okay? And you have to listen to understand what they're talking about before you could do any of the other things like mentoring and advice and all that other stuff. So be that person and let them know that you are down the road. You will be there to answer the phone and hear them, work with them about their future. That's a huge part of scouting. And of course, if they decide after Scouts BSA After 18, they can also go into venture. And venture goes till they're 21, and once they're 21, they're a leader. They can stay in scouting. It's not like once they're 18, there's an exit. Okay, that doesn't exist. And us as leaders, we need to explain that. They can stay in scouting as long as they want to. That's completely up to them. But as an adult leader, I'm so grateful that you're learning from what I have to say and helping America's youth become even better. I mean, can you imagine? They're fantastic now. Just imagine making them even better. And that's what you do all the time. Okay? And I'm highly impressed by that. So keep up that good work. Keep doing the hard job. And you know what? We're all going to benefit from it. So until next time, I'll see you on the trail.